Good afternoon, I'm Herman Green with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching online at onespotmedia.com. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang is assuring residents of Montego Bay, St. James that there will still be a high presence of security in communities after the state of emergency ends on January 31. Speaking in Norwood Gardens on Sunday, Dr. Chang explained that a mobile security post will be built to serve residents in the West after the state of emergency ends. TVJ Shamela Pullen reports.
The state of public emergency was declared in St. James on January 18, 2018. It comes to an end next Thursday, just a little over a year after it started. Residents living in volatile communities where crime has been rampant have welcomed the move. But now that it is coming to an end, some are fearful that things might go back to what it used to be. But National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says after the SOE has ended, plans are in place to continue the heavy security presence in these crime hotspots.
You'll notice that we have built up some facility at the airport. That's the number 2 battalion of the Jamaica Defense Force, which used to be based in Upper Camp. They are now permanently based in Montego Bay. So we don't have the cost of bringing them to and from Kingston and find a hotel or camp for them temporarily. The 2nd Battalion is now based at the Montego Bay Airport camp. I don't have a particular name for it yet. It's a JDF facility, and they can assist the police from here to Westmoreland.
In addition, Dr. Chang says plans are in place to build a mobile security post out west. He says that process will begin this year.
Usually, the community is used to the blue uniform and coming through. And that usually, when the blue uniform, the Delhi uniform police are around, there's a bit more order on the streets. We're going to base a formation at the Montego Hills base we're building there, so that you'll have adequate number of policemen.
Meanwhile, Dr. Chang is insisting that the current state of emergency is much better than in previous times and assures even after it ends, residents will continue to get fair treatment from lawmen.
So the marriage was better. I didn't get a lot of abuse. Some people felt they might have been detained for too long, detained wrongly, but there was no wanton abuse of individuals, and the community felt much safer operating. We expect to keep that atmosphere. One gentleman, people, we are a 24-hour city. Montego Bay depends on tourism and outsourcing services, airport and hotels. They run 24/7. People go to work late shift. If they have to work well, we need the community to remain like that, and we're going to make every effort to maintain that level in the community.
Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
And head of the Constabulary Communication Unit, Deputy Superintendent Delia Garrick, has weighed in on the ending of the states of emergency SOEs across the island. The St. James SOE will lapse on January 31, while emergency powers for the St. Catherine North Police Division ended on January 2 and January 7 for sections of the corporate area. Speaking on TVJ's Smile Jamaica program on Monday, DSP Garrick responded to arguments that normal policing could have achieved the benefits that the JCF is reporting from the SOEs.
We have tried normal policing and we have tried Zozo, and we can compare the results from both. I think Jamaica's challenges in crime and violence are not normal. So we have to come together and decide on what works best for our country.
DSP Garrick stressed that there has been a 20% reduction in murders since the imposition of the states of emergency. She adds that the police force has now developed relationships with community members, which in previous years did not exist.
It has also helped the communities to see that we are their police. You know, the JCF is Jamaica's police, and to enhance that relationship between the communities and the police. So it's more than just having boots on the ground, but it's giving those persons in those communities a voice, a sense that they too are Jamaican and have entitlement and should be able to live in a free and secure
What about
society.
the folks?
And National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the parish of St. James has seen a reduction in murders committed so far this year when compared to the same period last year.
Had 3 homicides, 3 murders, only one was related to the gang killing. One was a stabbing, and the other one we're not too sure about. Which last year, this time, we had 11 murders. The streets of 11. I don't know if we can maintain that kind of activity. To me, every citizen that dies in my constituency is painful. And none should die unless it's sickness and death. But criminal activity is a very, very painful thing to go through.
Hearings into allegations of wrongful dismissal at the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA, are scheduled to resume this week. The employees in question were fired more than a year ago as a scandal relating to the issuing of gun licenses to persons of questionable character engulfed the agency. President of the Jamaica Civil Service Association, O'Neill Grant, gave an update.
We go back to the IDT to continue to hear that we remain confident that we will be successful. The members will be successful in their case.
The former employees were dismissed in August 2017 amid a probe by the major organized crime and anti-corruption agency into the issuing of some firearm licenses. Among them were the senior director in charge of audit and complaints and the senior audit and complaints officer. More calls from residents in St. Thomas for a fire station to be erected in Golden Grove after several homes were destroyed by fire recently. The details in this report.
In 2014, Councillor for the Dalvey Division in St. Thomas, Michael McLeod, made an appeal for a fire station to be established in Golden Grove. Fast forward to 5 years later, in 2019, residents in the area are again making that plea. As it is now, communities surrounding Golden Grove depend on the fire station in Morant Bay in cases of emergencies. Fire victim Asnet Buckley lives in Rowlands Field, almost 17 miles away from the fire station in Morant Bay. Ms. Buckley says she was asleep when her house caught fire last September.
In my deep sleep, I just feel like when I eat, I come in my face. So when I jump up, I straighten the fire come towards me, my bedroom, because when me jump up, the kitchen burn off already, the back room burn off, and the fire come towards me. So all I could do, I did just buy one TV, never take it out of the box. It's in the box at the doorway into a garbage bag. So all I could do, I just grab the bag and jump out.
She says the fire station was contacted, but
by the time we call them, and from the time they take from Morant Bay to reach here, maybe if there was a station in Golden Grove, maybe something could have saved, but all the way from Morant Bay, by them reach here, it's flat.
Monday night gone, one house burned down right up on Magani Hill, and me sure say it burned down before the truck reached. That is too far.
While no lives were lost, nothing was saved. A post office is slated to be constructed on this piece of land in Golden Grove, but Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Thomas, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, says the land would be more fitting for a fire station.
While the post office remains a priority, I believe that the fire station has also escalated in relation to the need for it. It is my view as Member of Parliament that the proposed site for the post office would be ideal in relation to the fire station.
I've been one fire station. We have one in Morant Bay and one in Yallas. At times when we are on the peak of fire, we have to put cars on standby. So having more than one fire unit is also recommended for each station also.
Krista Campbell, TVJ News.
Despite optimism for most of the earnings from tourism to stay in Jamaica, Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica may have to settle with just 50% of industry earnings. Mr. Bartlett made the comment at a tourism press briefing last week. At present, Jamaica retains an estimated 30% of monies earned from tourists. That figure translates to over $1.1 billion of the over $3.3 billion made in 2018.
It is not going to be possible for us to retain much more because of our own incapacity and the demand that tourism brings for goods and services, some of which we will never be able to produce. In addition to that, of course, there is the export component, which is essentially foreign driven. Because when the visitor comes, you have to pay what we call the acquisition cost for the visitor. And your advertising and your promotions, which are overseas.
Concerns are being raised about the distance some street people in St. Elizabeth have to travel to benefit from food and hygiene care at the drop-in center in the capital Black River. Inspector of Poor for the parish, Marlene Lynch, says more resources are needed to care for the over 46 street people across St. Elizabeth.
Right now, it is in Black River. We're at a temporary location, and that is posing a problem as the persons figure it is too far for them to go. But the new center is almost complete and waiting for opening, which should be soon, and that will be closer to them, so they will just walk there. But they're not going to the place that is being used now, which is the Independence Park.
We go down to news and sports as the Reggae Girls took a break from their one-week training camp to visit the Women's Center in St. Anne's Bay, St. Anne over the weekend. The Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation was established to give teenagers who get pregnant an opportunity to further their studies. National striker Khadijah Bunny Shaw, who has lost siblings to violence in her Spanish Town community, used the opportunity to share her story.
My mom said to me one day, she was like, would you think you would feel good with it, knowing the fact that you give up on something that he told you to start? And I was like, that's a good point, because even though he's not around, I can still make an impact for my family and for everybody around me. And so I kept on going.
She also cited the importance of having a good support system.
My mom actually allowed me when I got called to the U15 national team. And so I remember packing for that camp. She gave me pillows, she gave me sheets, she gave me everything that was already at the camp. That's how excited she was. And so when I went, she was just so happy for me, you know, and then I got back home and she was like, how was it? And then the next day, she was like, are you gonna go to the soccer field?
And the National Sportswoman of the Year nominee challenged the young women to use their inner strength.
So I'm encouraging you guys to just not give up, because things get tough. People are always going to talk bad about you. You know, you can't please everybody, and I've known that growing up. So with the circumstances that you guys have been through, you just have to push through. And
the Reggae Girls also gave gifts to the teenaged mothers. And that's the Midday News. I'm Herman Green. Remember to join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.